What's going on? Today I'm going to show you how to vinyl wrap a door handle using TeckWrap Supergloss HD Khaki Green. This film comes with a PET release liner, which means it has a plastic release liner which gives it a supergloss effect. On top of that, it has a hard plastic cap which must be removed prior to installation. We're just going to need a few things to do this. Obviously we need our door handle, we have the back piece, I have a little tucking tool. Not normally required, but for this particular door handle, we have this little area here. Some cutting tape, a knife, isopropyl alcohol, clean cloth, and a heat gun. That's about it. Let's get into this. We're gonna wipe the handle down very thoroughly, and it's much easier to wrap the door handle when it's off the vehicle, just so you know. This door handle, we need to wrap the inside area as well, so that area will need to be covered, otherwise you will see the color of the actual paint, and we don't want that. So let's clean that up really nicely. Second of all, I've already cut my piece of film to size. So approximately a similar length, a little bit longer, nothing too long. If it's too long, it's going to kind of get in your way and it's going to be a burden. So we make sure that we don't have a piece that's too long and not too wide also. Now, what we also want to do before we do anything else is put our cutting tape down on the inside. So we're going to do that. We're going to put our cutting tape down inside here. And I'll show you the exact placement in 1 second. This end right here, I'm going to tuck it down and inside. We need to put two pieces down. This is not the only piece. I'm going to tuck it down inside, right in there. And I'll just stick this somewhere around there. Perfect. And that one can stay back there. That's totally fine. All right, we have one more piece to put down, so let's do that. All right, so that looks good. We're pretty straight. As long as there's no creases or wrinkles inside the handle area, it won't really affect the customer's feeling or your, when you grab it, very much. A lot of door handles actually have a black insert on the inside when they have door handle sensors. This one doesn't have a door handle sensor. That's just a fake button. But a lot of handles have a black insert in here, so there is an actual edge in there on most vehicles where they have that piece in there where you're always going to feel it. Nobody ever notices it, right? I removed the plastic cap. Again, this has to be removed prior to installation. I'm going to now remove the release liner, and what I'm also going to do is turn on my heat gun. I have my heat gun standing on the table. Now what I like to do, and you can probably do this in different ways, is I'm going to start from the front and stretch back. I'm going to heat the film up just a bit first, but mainly I want to be heating this area right in here. So let's just heat the front area there. We're going to lock that area down on the nose of the handle, just like so, and we're going to stretch the film backwards and try to keep it as flat as possible as we do this. Now, I didn't stretch the vinyl very far past this edge. We don't need to. As you can see, we have some wrinkles, which is expected because we're only able to really hold the vinyl with one hand. We'll simply pull these ones out to the edge. We're always pulling against the wrinkles. So we have two more. We have one more here and one more here. Let's pull it this way. Good. It is okay to put your fingers behind the wrap as long as your fingers aren't greasy, oily, or dirty. Try not to anyways. Okay, let's see what happens here. Now this is the critical point. We want to make sure that the vinyl is hugging around the nose of the handle. So let's heat it and see what happens. That's great. That's perfect. Exactly what you want. The film actually has shrink wrapped itself around the handle. This creates extreme durability down the road, knowing that we didn't actually have to stretch the vinyl to the edge. Let's check this side here. Should be very similar. Okay, that's exactly what you want. Now, as you can see, there are no wrinkles and no creases on any part of this area on the front of the handle. This is the critical point. This is where door handles normally fail, because people end up stretching too far past the edge. Now, what we need to do is we need to wrap around these edges a little bit right here. What I do, personally speaking, is this. 1 second, I'm just going to remove my knifeless tape. Is I'm going to peel up this edge here slightly, and I'm going to add a little bit of pressure and pull it down and around the top side of that handle. I don't even probably need any heats. I'm just using my thumb and pressure and the natural pliability of the film. So why am I doing this? Why because now the film is actually wrapping around the back area of the handle a little bit, which is really nice. As you can see on the other side here, it's more bunching up right here at this top corner. So this one over here is actually wrapping around really nicely. Now again, we don't want to stretch way past this edge. A lot of our pressure is just placed right there in that area. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to lift it up past, and my knife tape's kind of in the way. I'm going to lift that up past that top corner. And right there, so you see how that is. I'm going to add pressure with my thumb and stretch it across and down and around that edge. It's just a small little trick, a little technique that I like to use. Is it necessary that you do that? Again, not, but you're going to find that your vinyl won't be wrapping around the back edge here very much, and it's going to bunch, then it's going to bunch up and it's going to look a little bit ugly. Let's just heat it and see what happens. And you can see it's nice and smooth on that edge. And that is the key right there. So as long as we're smooth on the edge, we're free to cut the film, especially smooth after heating it, because it means the film has no tension on it. If the film was going to pull back, it would have pulled back already. What we're going to do now is we're going to wrap inside the handle area. We'll do one side at a time over top of our knifeless tape. So because our vinyl is in excess on the inside, we're going to just do one side at a time. Now what I like to do here again is just heat these corners right here, and we're going to push those areas in first. This takes tension away, or it pulls tension across the middle area right here. So instead of working from the middle to these areas here, we're actually dispersing our tension way more evenly when we do it the way I just showed you, pushing down in these corners first. Okay, this is actually ready to be cut on this side with the knifeless tape. Let's just place our cut tape here and make sure that it's going to pull through really nicely. I'm going to add a little bit more heat at the top here because I want my vinyl to stay down. So let's just add a little bit more heat right there and then just push that film down right there just to make sure that it's nice and tight across the cut tape. Let's take it now and we're going to pinch this area here and I'll pull it towards myself. It's a little bit easier that way. And then come all the way through. And as we get to the end here, try and hold it a bit and come all the way through like that. Now we can remove this section of film, and we're going to be doing the other side in just a moment. What I like to personally do now is, now that that edge is lifted a little bit, it's lifted because we had to remove the cut tape from underneath it, we're going to heat it and just let it shrink if it wants to, and then apply that right back down. Perfect. Let's do this side now. We're going to now remove that other inside piece right there. Good. And the two pieces that are left over afterwards. Excellent. All right, let's heat that edge again. If it wants to pull back, just let it do its thing, and then apply pressure, finish off the center area. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over this one more time with heat. Make sure the film is nice and tightly wrapped around the inside. Just like so. I'm using pressure from my finger and just massaging it down around that inside edge a little bit. We don't need a lot in here. This area is ready to be cut out. I'm going to, this is a little bit tricky because this section is in the way, so I'm going to add pressure with my index finger here, and we're going to cut in the free space. There's some free space in this handle. Not all of them have free space in them, but this one does. Come on. Okay, and then same thing, we're going to come around the other side over here. I like to put a little tension on the film when you cut, or when I cut, because it keeps the film more straight and less wrinkled, or less chance of wrinkles. Okay, so before I add any heat, this is the inside area on the nose of the door handle, or the front of the door handle. We're going to add some heat now, very important. We're going to clean all that up really nicely. Don't skip this step of heating the ends. And just pressing down on it and making sure that it looks nice and clean. Excellent. Let's move on to the back section here. Now, the back section here, We don't have to wrap this back piece on this one since it's just black plastic. So that being said, on cars where it's not black plastic, you will need to put an insert or an overlay inside this area on the back section. There's a little tiny gap here between the red painted handle and the actual black plastic. Again, we're going to add some heats. Good. Let's cut one more skinny strip, and this is optional at this point. You can put knifeless tape or cutting tape in here again, or you don't have to. You can freehand cut, as long as you're confident enough to not cut through both layers of vinyl. Oops, I'm just going to pull that back, because what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut my piece to approximate length here and approximate width, but a little bit bigger in the width and a little bit bigger in the length. Okay, I haven't cut through the actual release liner on the back. That should be cut though. Perfect. Oops, this is just flopping around a little bit, so let's just move that piece. Awesome. Now we're going to take this section and we're going to place it inside the inner door handle area as nicely as we can. Come on. As tension-free as we can. So I'm laying that in there, again, very tension-free. Now, we probably will have to add a bit of heat, but for the most part, this inlay or overlay is very much tension-free. It's totally fine to stretch the film in a bit. So we'll start there on that side first. We'll do the same on this side here. Add a bit of heat. Then make sure it's nice and tight over top of our main piece. So do the same thing here again. This corner pushed in. And then same thing right there at that top corner. Now I have some trimming to do, okay? This is not finished yet. So let's trim. This is where I said you could have put knifeless tape, or cutting tape, or you can freehand cut it like I am right now. The object here is to cut and score the film without actually cutting through the film. So I shouldn't even be technically grazing or scratching that underside layer, or the main piece underneath. Come on, right here. And again, as long as you have no wrinkles, no one's going to feel the seam that's in this area. Good. Let's rip that off. Let's do this side now. I'm giving myself, as far as overlap goes, approximately 1/8 of an inch. Let's say 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch overlap. As I get to the end, I can push a little bit harder because I'm off of the handle. And that will allow me to just pull the film right across the score line. Good. And that's good. Two last steps here. We're going to tuck that area in, and that is already over. And just trim them out. Again, we have no tension at the edge, so we don't need to leave a lot of extra vinyl here. I will heat it still afterwards. Let's do the bottom right here to add a little bit of tension here. Sorry. There we go. Great. And let's heat this area here. Now, just so you know, this button area, a lot of door handles have this, but not in the same way. A lot of them are just either a black plastic button that you can physically push down, and you can actually just trim right around it. While this one is actually painted or paint matched. Now, what we would have to do, and I'm just going to explain it because this video is simply just to be able to wrap the door handle, but we would have to trim out this area here and then wrap the button in a separate piece, just so you know. But right here, right now, this is the door handle all finished up. It's going to be extremely durable. Should last forever. I mean, until either the vinyl wears out, the paint wears out, or whatever, or the car's in the garbage. But this should not lift off of the handle ever. Even with the inside piece in here, then that edge being there, people grabbing it is still not usually enough to flip that up. Like I'm just, unless you scrape it with your fingernails or something like that, or deliberately try to lift that, it's not usually, in most cases, not going to lift up. So again, it's more of a safety net to put it over afterwards. You can, however, put it before, and then again, you can put knifeless tape down there. Again, if you choose to, but you don't really need to. You can freehand cut as long as you know that you're not going to cut through both layers of vinyl, because you have the safety net of the vinyl underneath it to protect the paint and not scratch it. But that's pretty much it. I hope that this video was informative and helpful in showing you how to do this door handle with TeckWrap Super Gloss HD Khaki Green. I look forward to doing more videos for you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.